Yeah. Well, as I said, I kind of consider myself a futurist. My father and I, we love kind of talking about what the world's going to be like.
That's cool.
He was so, he always comes up with stuff. Even today, he's coming up with stuff, but he was great back in the day. Like he knew about the weather. He pitched the Weather Channel to whoever
Oh,
did
that's
the
cool.
Weather Channel. He lived in Oklahoma and where Noah is. And CNN, he was like, it's going to be a news network. And he was just ahead of his time on that kind of stuff. And it
That's
kind of
crazy.
instilled in me. And so I wanted to take my love for futurism and put that into the book. And so I developed it in kind of near future. And this was in 2018. So the cool thing is I get to kind of see, was I right and was I wrong? A lot of this stuff is already starting to come to pass. For example, Lensors are, augmented reality glasses.
I just saw that.
In the book, they're like glasses like this. Now, back in 2018, originally I called them Oculars. And Oculus came out after I had written the book, and I was like, oh, shoot, I got to change the name. I think Oculus was already there, but I hadn't heard about it because, Meta, or back then Facebook, hadn't bought them yet. But once I found that, I had to go.
Yeah.
I like to stop and think, okay, well, how is life really going to be? When I was young, cell phones were kind of coming out. And back then, people didn't talk on the phone in the middle of the restaurant. That was considered taboo, but now they do. So I was like, okay, if everybody has augmented reality glasses on, what is life going to be like? And so I came up with certain terminology like the chorus. You're on a plane. Everybody is communicating with their augmented reality AI. And so they're just talking to no one. And it kind of sounds like ducks, squawking because, everybody's talking to their lens or doing stuff. And then, they're moving their hands around, grabbing, because everything's real physics in the virtual world.
Minority Report.
Grabbing this, and that kind of stuff. And then there's the spread, which is like the tour of lensers, where you can daisy chain these lensers together and communicate off of the internet, which Chandler uses a lot in order to obscure, where he is and what he's doing. And then I also have the scene where people would rent their, because there's tremendous processing power in these lensers. And so at night they have to charge them. Well, they just, upload the processing to a bank, and you could take a bank of Lensors, like 1 million Lensors, and have them do stuff. So there was that whole thing. I was trying to make it realistic.
That's cool.
And in the book, Chandler, remember Rubik's Cube?
Oh, yeah. My students play with them all the time.
Well, right. But there's always those students who are like, I am going to conquer this no matter how hard. I was not one of those. I could not conquer the Rubik's Cube, but I remember the people who did. And I was like, I want Chandler to be that person, right? He just,
cool.
And so he didn't want to be like moving his arms around like this. And so he came up with a way to kind of do it just by moving his fingers. And there's actually a protocol called Just2R, which is in existence now, but it's kind of dying out. And in the book, it dies out. But I have him perfect his own Just2R to communicate with the lensers. And of course, he uses that in the book for special.
That's cool.
You want your heroes to have special talents, and that was one of the ones that I gave him. But it was fun because I, as a privacy attorney, I was able to add privacy issues into the book.
Oh, that's cool.
And deal with that, because when everybody has a camera, like what happens if you take a picture of a bunch of people? The way lensers work is if they see other lensers, they have to ask permission of all those people in order to actually give you the image.
Oh, wow.
And it's automatic. Cool. It automatically happens because they got near field technology. And so I explain all that in the book, that's part of hard science fiction, is you got to explain how things work, not just why.
Yeah. Cool. That's awesome.
I do self-driving transports in there.
Neat.